big 25-point effort by Jason Tatum in the second half. Now the series heads back to Boston. The Celtics look to extend past Game 5. And remember, teams 0-150. They've had 150 shots at being down 0-3. They've won a grand total of 0 series in the NBA playoffs. Joined now by 3-time NBA champion Danny Green. And look at him, the man himself, star of BMF, Jalen Rose. Guys, you know, normally you go, well, down 0-3, it's never happened before, it's not going to happen. It ain't 0-3 anymore. It's 3-1 now, and that has happened before. But furthermore, this is a 2 seed versus an 8 seed, right? So they won more regular season games, meaning they're the better team. And they also have, you know, the Heat are going to have to go on the road if they don't win. They're going to have to go on the road right now. What do you mean, to close out the series? So there are factors here that are at work that aren't normally at work in these situations. Jalen, what are the chances the Celtics make history here?
5%. Max, I love how you talked yourself into, it's not 3-0, it's 3-1 now. They were better, yes. But in the regular season, the bottom line is this. The Boston Celtics are going to go on to lose this series. And NBA history is the prime indicator because 150 times a team has been trailing 0-3, they've gone on to lose the series. And Jimmy Butler, along with the Joker, have been the top 2 players in this year's playoffs. Don't be surprised if the Celtics go back and win Game 5, but this thing would be over no later than 6. It's not even going 7.
Danny, I hear what Jalen's saying, and I felt like, man, the Celtics were done because of the way they folded in Game 3 and then the way the coach sounded after and Jaylen Brown sounded after. Like, man, these dudes are ready to pack it in. But they've been a funny team like that. Everyone says playing with their food, even in the Philly series, and they're about to lose. And then Tatum, who was 1 of 15 in the fourth quarter, halfway through, suddenly hits 4 threes. And then there's a Game 7 where he drops 51. Is there any difference here with this Celtics team, the way they've behaved in this playoffs, and the fact that Tatum is capable of doing that? How worried should the Heat be?
I don't think they should be worried at all. They have a lot of games, like Jalen said, there's a very slim chance this Boston team comes back. I give Boston a little higher percentage chance than 10% or 5%. I'll give about 10 to 15%. But if Miami plays the way they've been playing, the supporting cast is playing unbelievable basketball. But if they keep playing defense the way they've been playing, they can get out on offense, get in transition baskets, limit a lot of Tatum and Jalen's fourth quarter points, which gives them, you know, a great opportunity to win these games. And they have 2 games to do it, 3 games realistically, but I think they have 2 games to do it, and I think they'll get it done in those 2 games before it gets to Game 7.
You know, I got to say something. You both give the Celtics pretty good chances. Like Jalen, 5%, it's a 1 in 20 shot. Considering it's been an 0 for 150 throughout history, that's pretty good. And Danny, you think it's a 1 in 10 shot, maybe better. And I think it might be better than that. Look, I loathe all Boston teams. I hope I'm wrong. But there's something sneaky about this Celtics team that has me a little worried. If they do, does Jason Tatum need to be the best player in the series for the Celtics to win?
Absolutely. And he's the guy, when it was time to vote for MVP, was on many people's ballots. He's an all-NBA performer. And by the way, when you look at regular season accomplishments, this is why it's so disappointing that the Celtics are down the way they are. Jason Tatum, MVP conversation. Jaylen Brown, all-NBA. White, all-NBA defense. Malcolm Brogdon, 6th man of the year. Last year's most improved, this year's Hustle Award, Marcus Smart. And so for them to accomplish all that they've accomplished, yet be in this position, is very disappointing. And I give them a 5% chance to come back just because of injury, nothing else. If one of the Heat players get injured, a part of their rotation, that gives them a chance. Otherwise, the Heat are going to close this thing out no later than 6.
Age 38 in his 20th season, playing 48 minutes of the game on a foot that may need surgery in the offseason. He maybe shouldn't even been playing on it. The man had almost a 40-point triple-double. Here's Lakers GM Rob Pelinka on LeBron's basketball future.
LeBron has given as much to the game of basketball as anyone who's ever played. And when you do that, you earn a right to decide whether you're going to give more. Obviously, our hope would be that his career continues.
Coming off a tough loss like that, the work we've put in this season, I think I was ready to retire after last night too.
All right, so LeBron told our Dave McMenamin after he made a kind of cryptic remark at the press conference, which Wendy told me yesterday was not a direct response to a question. It's like something LeBron clearly wanted to say, so put it out there as though he was answering a question that didn't ask him that. McMenamin asked him to clarify, and LeBron said, indeed, he's considering retirement. Danny, you know LeBron well. What do you think he does next?
I think he comes back for one more year. I don't think he is going to sit out. But I know his biggest aspiration and goals are to play with Bronny. The only way that I think he can do that is if he does take a year off. So if he does retire for a year and then comes back, but I don't see him doing that. I see him come back for another year and then maybe calling it quits. I do just like the fact that we're not talking about the Denver Nuggets more, but this is LeBron James, and the game, if he does leave and retire, we'll dearly miss him. And a lot of guys playing against him, like myself, and the competitors and the guys playing with him are going to miss him. So this is a big story and something we need to talk about, but I do think the Denver Nuggets deserve a little more attention.
That's interesting. Rob Perez tweeted something about that when that news came out, and I thought, LeBron taking a year off and then coming back, recharging his batteries, using some leverage to come back and play to get Bronny drafted or something like that. Jalen, what do you think LeBron does next?
Stop the presses, okay? LeBron is not going to retire. I saw basically if he chose to retire, that could be up to $100 million that it would cost him. Number two, you don't get to be in purple and gold and take years off. How do you guys think their fans are going to feel about that? They expect to win championships every single season. And this Lakers team came up short. You know how disappointing they would be if he decided to take a year off? That's not going to happen. What he was doing is putting the Lakers on notice. Make a big-time move. I saw Kyrie Irving at the game. I saw Trae Young at the game. Let's make a move is what he was saying. And finally, Danny just mentioned it. LeBron is so savvy. He wants us to talk about his retirement, and we're not talking about the Denver Nuggets, the team that actually swept them out of the playoffs. What brilliance to manipulate the media and the team by LeBron James.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance that's what happened. But Danny Green, you who've won championships and played with LeBron, Jalen Rose is basically here telling the world that your idea is ridiculous, even though I support it. What do you have to say to Jalen?
I can't disagree with him, but we'll see. In time, we'll see what happens. But I can't. He has very good, valid points, and I can't disagree with Jalen. Jalen knows better than most people.
Like
He's
that.
been around.
Like that, Danny Green says, yes, Jalen says it, so my idea is ridiculous. I don't know. I thought you were a good defender on the NBA court.
Well, he got championship wins with
sure,
LeBron. Man. I mean, of course, he got to look out. He might be playing with him next year.
I can't disagree with the OG. I can't disagree with the OG. I might be. You never know.
There is a non-negligible chance that could happen. Matter of fact, from the look on your face, Danny, maybe you know something we don't.
I don't.
Danny, what about AD? What do you think? Whether AD can drive the bus or not, right? Because he's really he's not a wing. Can he be the centerpiece of a championship team?
I think so. Considering how well he played this postseason, I'm glad that he stayed healthy. The biggest thing is his health. If he can stay healthy, I think he still has a good couple more years of being the franchise guy that they need him to be. The biggest thing is making sure that he's available. And hopefully this summer, I think he will this summer, take advantage of it, rest a little bit, but, work on his body, so make sure he's in good shape and good conditioning, and make sure that he's ready to play a full 82-game season, maybe miss some games, and be ready for the playoffs and be healthy. That's the biggest key for him.
Maybe miss some games? I would say that's an understatement. What do you think the over-under is on games missed for AD? I think that number is 20 is the over-under, right? That's his whole career. No, I'm not making fun of him. I'm just saying this is the reality, right? Yes, after he was eliminated from these playoffs, LeBron told our Dave McMenamin he was still better than 90%, maybe 95% of the NBA. Jalen, Danny, this is really interesting to me, and I'll tell you why. I think he's better than that, right? I think he's a top 10 player still. But this is the first time it's been explicit, where LeBron is here saying, he didn't say 99% or something. He's not saying I'm no longer the best player in basketball, though I've never heard that either. He's saying there's a little layer of players above me, of players above me. That acknowledgement is something new. Like, he just almost had a 40-point triple-double in an elimination game. He brought it to one possession, and he comes out and says that. What do you think the significance of this is, Jalen?
It gives him confidence going into the offseason and remind him, we didn't lose because I didn't bring it. We lost because we weren't good enough. And when you make all NBA, that means that you're better than 95% of the league, which he did this season. So it's, again, just a boost to the ego. In order for you to be able to play this game, and Danny knows this at an elite level, not only do you need to be confident, but sometimes it needs to be irrational. But for LeBron, he doesn't necessarily need to do that because he went out on his shield. He played really well in the elimination game. They just got bounced.
But, Danny, I see it from the other point of view. Not that he's giving himself confidence, but in a certain way it was overly modest. He's better than even 95%. The number is higher than that, right? But also the fact that he's acknowledging that there's a little layer of players better than him, right? When you played with him, did he ever feel that way? Is this something new?
He's not a delusional guy. He knows who he is, and he knows as a high IQ player, because he's one of the greats to play this game, is because he has a high IQ and he knows where he's at. And he understands that he's getting older. And he knows that's why he brought AD along. He knows that he's going to need help. He's going to need somebody else to carry the torch or be the main guy to lead him to a championship. He's going to be the number 2 or 1B. So, yeah, he's always been that way. And for him to respect the game and the players in front of him or acknowledge that, it just shows how humble of a superstar that he is. And that said, like Jalen said, they're going to need help for him to win another championship.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.